Hello and welcome back to the Sim Racing Superstar finale, part 2 of 3. I'm going back through my archive of races I've got recorded that still haven't put out. We're going through the highlights and lowlights, and we're going to see what the final pace gap was between myself and the best players in the game. We start here, Tsukuba circuit, N100 class race, which apparently means just Corolla 11s and Sprinter Tranos. Apparently, whatever. Anyway, I always say that some races have British touring car vibes because they're a little bit bumpy. This one was too bumpy, too annoying, and annoying because of the GT Sport penalty system. Case in point number 1, Russian driver Stavskavaz, pronunciation not checked, knocks me out of the way. Other Russian driver knocks me out of the way, down to 4th. No penalties for them. Get used to that sort of thing for this event. Italian driver drops out the lead for some reason, and now, just like that, we're up to 3rd. However, a remarkable route from the Belgian driver who seemed to go across the curb to knock me out of the way. Again, as far as I'm aware, no penalty for him, but we managed to fight him off through the next corner. And this is just the level of frustration, to the point where every braking zone, you need to kind of be worried about if someone's going to make a move on you. Braking into here, keep an eye on the radar, you're constantly worried. But we at least survive on that occasion. So now we're trying to get after the 2 Russian drivers, and by the end of lap 2 we are on the back of Ideal Reality RU. Seeing we can make a move to turn 1, that would be good. Right on the back of them, in the slipstream, knock out fastest lap, showing we've got the pace. So, look to stick a nose in, but we force a mistake. So, stick it at the inside, don't quite have the momentum to get the move done. We are ahead, but we're going to be on the outside for the next big braking zone. But see if we can get the move done. Maybe sweep around the outside. I'm quite conservative on the brakes. Russian driver just manages to push me out of the way. He defends well here. Now, trying to get alongside him, end up tapping him a couple of times, and as a result, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I get full on yeeted out the way, nothing. I give him a couple of lovely taps, little British touring car taps, and I get a second. Now, clearly throwing caution to the wind, I then end up pulling quite a good move to get past him, but to no avail, as obviously we're about to serve a second, and off he goes. And that pretty much ended the race as a contest for me. 3rd we go, managed to get another fastest lap, or improve upon it I should say at the end, finished 3rd. Really frustrating event, this one, and I got annoyed. I admit I made some mistakes as well, because I was getting frustrated, but so much of it was just nonsense, and I'm going to give you an example of that right now. So, here I am, started further back, fighting my way through the field, quite a good race, hold the inside line for the final turn, he turns in on me and knocks himself wide. This isn't the moment, really, I just want to show you an overtake, just to kind of demonstrate I am relatively competent on some occasions. The main thing is here, keep an eye on the radar, braking zone into turn 1. Not even the guy you think it's going to be, out of nowhere. A fellow British driver knocks me just fully out the way, uses me to turn around the corner. He gets nothing. Absolutely nothing. The frustration as I cross the line in 6th and see he's got a podium. The GT Sport penalty system has its moments, usually bad, and it had quite a lot there. Now this race, Group 3 once again, but this time at Maggiore, took place in the same week as the other one. I put them into a folder, the one folder was called The Worst Week. Actually these races weren't that bad, but I seemed to have half decent results on the horizon, and then something would happen to ruin it. This is the best of a bad bunch, essentially, so, I'm not really selling it, sorry. So, we start off chasing Just Inc. Nothing to report through the first chicane. It's here where things get a bit interesting. Just Inc. takes a wide line through this corner, and it kind of catches me out, because as he, takes his line, I take evasive manoeuvres, just about hold on to it, gain a place from someone else's misery, but because of my lack of speed from evasive manoeuvres, Foxtrot up the inside, and he takes 7th. So, started 8th, still 8th. What I'm trying to say is this S's section, up ahead, is quite fun. Difficult to say, but quite fun. As Basti, the German driver, knocks it out of the way, Foxtrot then loses it. But This section's fun because if you can position it right, you can really change momentum and go from being on the defence to on the attack. Case in point, there's Basti, who got past us before. We are now looking to get a move on to him into this wonderful banked right-hander hairpin. And know your track limits, you can get all 4 wheels off the track on the inside and not get punished. You can tell the FIA are involved with this game due to the inconsistency on track limits. Satire. Anyway, so we managed to hold on from Basti, shut the door on the next corner, and we're up to 7th. We've gained 1 place from the first lap. Again, this same corner, Justin taking a wider line. This time it catches out the Belgian driver. Iconic, and it wasn't iconic really. So we're up to 6th. So in the last episode I said I'd explain why this series was probably doomed from the start. I'd not been into gaming or motorsports for a few years, despite it being a big part of my childhood and my teenage years. And then I decided actually I want to get back into it, and even more so than that, you know, my day job is to make videos, and I kind of wanted to do something for myself. So that's where this YouTube channel came about. But I also knew I wanted to do series. I didn't want us to do videos of me playing aimlessly. I wanted it to be an objective and something to do. And this was the objective I came up with. I just thought it would be funny to try and maybe chart my improvement in some way. I knew full well that I probably wasn't going to be great at it, but I held out a little bit of hope, as all kind of racing fans and motorsports fans do. They hope they're secretly, you know, super talented at racing. Downfall was I needed to practice a lot more. I just didn't have the time to practice consistently enough to race well enough and make the videos as well. Like in here I was, I think, showing signs of improvement. The pace gap was regularly coming down, but I could have gotten better. I'd practiced more, I probably would have done, but I then just couldn't keep up with playing, practicing, recording and making the videos. The reason I decided to stop was I just knew, as much as I enjoyed playing Gran Turismo Sport, this series just didn't have the momentum behind it. It probably was the weakest idea for a series I've had. It's been a good learning experience, but I think it's time to just let it go now. Also, it's called Sim Racing Superstar, and many would argue that I've not played any sims on this. I should probably be on iRacing or R Factor or something, but yeah, I've not got to that point yet. Maybe one day in the future. Closing the gap. We gain another place. We're up to 5th now. Only actually made 1 overtake, but I suppose staying on the track is part of racing, even if it isn't, you know, as glamorous as getting a good overtake done. And we are closing in on just Inc. So let's have a good section of corners through the S's. I'm concentrating every time I try to say the word the S's now, so I don't sound like I'm doing a very inappropriate impression or something. Slow entry, hoping for a fast exit. Looking a little bit shaky, we've got a good line. We're in the slipstream. And once again, just like with Basti, heading up towards the banked hairpin. However, he's gone defensive. I think about going extremely offensive, but I'm again going to go for the old cutback. We know I love it. Wheels across the grass, but he positions his car well enough so I can't slide at the inside. Just touching and he defends. Nicely done. However, there's 1 lap to go. Unfortunately, next time around, he has a much better lap and he manages to move away. And just ahead, another German driver bins it. We get up to 4th, just thinking the podium. Only made 1 overtake, but we had decent pace and we stayed on the track. 8th to 4th, not too bad. Especially since I put it in a folder called The Worst Week. The rest were pretty poor. And not even poor in an entertaining way, just, you know, poor. Incredibly, the pace gap doesn't move at all. Absolutely bang on exactly the same gap as the average. It's almost like it wasn't worth it. Anyway, we are in Group 3 once again. Back at Dragon Trail Gardens, back in the AMG. Last time we were here in Group 4 cars, did quite well here in terms of starting low and making up a lot of places, and considering we're starting 15th, let's hope we can maybe do the same again. Always nonsense through these first few corners. We've got the chicane, the big braking zone hairpin. Let's see what we can do. So immediately, yellow flag. someone has disappeared somewhere. We're up to 14th. Immediately looking to get at the inside of this, is it Italian driver, I think? Now, I did a lot of complaining about people running into the back of people. Here I'm too busy looking at my competitor's braking zone. I miss mine. I potentially knock a guy out and don't get punished for it. And I'm up to 11th. So I want to offer a full apology. That is my bad. It was completely unintentional, but I probably deserved a penalty for that. I suppose it's all swings and roundabouts on this game. Some you get away with, some you're a victim of. Anyway, more nonsense up ahead through this multi-apex right-hander, and somehow we're up to 9th. Number of actual overtaking manoeuvres I made, 1, questionably. Just unreal. Start of lap 2. Catching up from other people's fallout. Poor moves there. And we are up to 8th. These up ahead looking very, very dicey. So hopefully there's an opportunity to pick up the pieces once again. We can see there's a penalty that's going to be served, but they're all tripping over each other. So maybe we can get into 5th. That would be good. Getting onto the back of Mohacs Mafia. Into this multi-apex right-hander. The word Mafia in the name doesn't instill confidence. But anyway, hang it up the inside, just trying to hold on. Don't manage to touch him, I think it's quite a good move, but then I get over the curb, it puts me out of shape, and gives this Italian driver an opportunity to just barge past me. I lose sportsmanship rating, but he gets a 1-second penalty. Yeah, I'll take that. So, we're down to 8th, but, again, Mohacs Mafia is right there, penalty to serve ahead of us, we could still get 6th. Straight past there, and the chase continues. At the start of lap 4, we are on the back of Mohacs Mafia once again. Definitely feel like we've got the measure of this guy. He's slightly offline through this sequence of right and left-handers. We've got the run out the corner in the slipstream, and we pull out. Can we outbrake into the corner? We do. Hold it quite nicely, but behind us, Toyota Renner has also slipped through and is immediately on the back of us. This guy seems pacey. And we have to switch to defensive, but he just slides through. Little cheeky bump through there from Toyota Renner. Gets a little out of shape, so maybe we can get back at him through the multi-apex right-hander, but I then end up taking evasive manoeuvres not to run into the back of him. I'm just too nice, clearly. Toyota Renner drives away. We finish 7th, but a gain of 8 places at Dragon Trail Gardens. Don't mind it here. To be fair, a lot of it was other people just, you know, being a little bit messy. So we finally move away from Group 3 cars and we go to classic Mini Coopers at Goodwood, a lovely all-British vintage racing experience. Grid start, starting 9th, doing a little bit better than a fellow British driver there, and we grab 8th already. Last time I was here in Renault Clio as a one-make race, I was slightly disappointed. I didn't get a win. I thought we were very close, had some good performances, so this time in a similar sort of event I was very much hoping that I could break my duck here. So, up to St Mary's for the first time. This is where usually a lot of action takes place. It usually goes a little bit pear-shaped for at least 1 or 2 people, but everyone keeps it together. Lots of jostling, very close stuff, and we look to make our first move that's not off the grid. Decent braking move on Carlos Lost 12, but unbelievably, he does the cutback on us. I'm pretty sure that's against the law, sir, so we try and take it back down the Lavant Straight, and we do get into 7th temporarily, but it's still all very dicey, all very close as we approach Woodcote. However, make a little bit of an error here. Get some wheels on the grass in the braking zone, and we get very slidey. Carlos Loss almost up the inside, pretty much just trying to hold it together around that final corner. We approach the chicane. We've lost the place. We try not to get destroyed. Tag the wall. And we do gain a place, but only because of other people's misfortune. Not the best first lap, but loads of cars right there. So, we skip forward a lap, approaching Woodcut again, coming up to Carlos Lost 12 again. Hopefully we can do a slightly better this time. Brake, not on the grass. Car driving wide, foxy feet there. Back on, smashes Rub Your Box, great name, and it all goes a bit mad. I end up helping Carlos Lost through, and another opportunity wasted. I think that was indicative of a lot of my races around this time. I was doing quite well, but I wasted a lot of opportunities to do better. Now, British driver Armister serves his penalty. Carlos Loss has got 4 seconds next time around, so looking at a net 5th place, but the fact that we can again still see the leader right there, we can actually get our backside together. That's a very strange phrase. If we can actually get it together and just be a little bit more consistent, we could do some good things here. Definitely feel like I'm underperforming in this one. Now, Foxy Feet looking to make the move on Carlos Loss. But Carlos Loss, he loves a cutback himself! Back up the inside, and these two are going to drag race it down here now while they're jostling and fighting each other. I'm going to try and slide along. Don't be suspicious. Just trying to get past. But Carlos Loss, he likes a bit of an aggressive defend. He nudges us onto the grass. Cheeky. So we end up losing the place. Into Woodcut again. Trying just to get something out of it, but we've got Armister right behind us. He grinds his way through. We're in the middle of a sandwich. I brake. They can go, and then in essence, me bailing out helped me hold on to 6th place. So, 1 lap to go. I've really not made the progress that I'd hoped that I would and should have done. Carlos Loss, we finally get by, but only thanks to that 4-second penalty. No idea what he did. Don't know if he fully deserved it in the GT Sport penalty system. But again, final lap, we can see the top cars right there, but we don't close the gap. We cross the line, and that is unfortunately the best result we end up at Goodwood. I must be slightly cursed here. Race won by Rub Your Box, which we can all be happy about. And that is going to be it. So the pace gap comes down only slightly. It's generally come down throughout this episode, but it's not by big margins. There are only 3 events to go, and then the series comes to a close. Thank you so much for watching. We are going to wrap it up next time with the final pace gap, and incredibly, no Group 3 cars in the finale. We have got Group 4 and the Red Bull X 2014 Junior. Possibly some of my favourite races ever. Thanks so much for watching. See you then.